welcome back, sports people. We're going to be going over another topic here. Obviously, same outfit, same day, and definitely be same post at the same day, probably tomorrow or Saturday. And we're going to kick it off. What's the next topic? I know we've covered the Texans organization. What do we want to cover this time?
The future landing spots.
Oh, the coaching carousel?
Yeah, that's what you call it.
Well, they've already been landed.
Oh yeah. Well, I mean,
and
let's not mince words. I mean, there's going to be some people that are probably still going to be let go.
Yeah.
I mean,
you're going to have some defense coordinators let go. People still going to want to fill the teams with their own people, not people who are already there.
Yeah.
But that doesn't make any sense. If you didn't work, why would I keep you on?
The Texans are going to be looking for a head coach, maybe even an offensive coordinator, defensive coordinator. I know Carmel's been there, but he might be ready to step down.
He specifically said he's just consulting next year. He's not coaching.
He's not coaching. So those are definitely valid positions that need to be addressed. I do know that the Eagles went ahead and hired the offensive coordinator from the Colts. That's a good pickup.
Was it Eric Campbell?
Something like that. Yeah.
Sirianni, as head coach.
Yeah.
So when I look at that, I'm looking at upgrade for the Eagles. That's a definite
Almost
upgrade
definitely.
for the Eagles. You don't think so?
Nope, not at all.
Right to the point.
The coach, offensive coordinator.
No, I don't think you should have fired.
I'm with him. I don't think they should have fired Doug. I understand why they fired Doug, but it doesn't mean that I like it.
Yeah, because now when the new coach come in, he has a quarterback issue.
Yep.
Because
maybe not, because if they let Wentz go, they're already talking about.
But then, first of all, now you got to shop him around to even get a person to take that contract.
Oh, are you kidding? There's going to be somebody that's going to take it.
Why?
Denver, Colts.
Yep.
Why? When I'm in the
Jacksonville's the only one that won't because they're high enough in the draft.
Right.
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
The Jacksonville and the Jets, which probably should be the land spots right now.
No, unless they're thinking about trading that number one spot, there's no reason to go after Lawrence.
But if Lawrence is coming out,
Trevor Lawrence.
If he's coming out,
he's a hot topic.
But Trevor Lawrence is a college rookie coming into the NFL.
I know. So you know how
Carson Wentz is proven, and I'm not sitting there saying he's not a bad quarterback. He's not a bad quarterback. He's not a bad quarterback. He's led the team to the playoffs. He just got injured in the playoffs. So if all you got to do, or prior, if all you got to do is put a line behind, in front of him, he'll be good.
Can't you say that about every quarterback? You put a line in front of him.
Well, you can't say that because there's quarterbacks that had a line that still made bad decisions. Look at Tony Romo. He had the best offensive line his whole career. The best offensive line ever.
I wasn't gonna go back that far.
I'm just saying.
No, that's a good.
I would say that's a great example because I remember that year that they went after that huge tackle. What was his name? Young. Tyrone Young.
Yeah.
And he was huge. He's been there for what? I mean, I know I think he just left. He was there for like 10 years.
But Jacksonville signed a new coach.
I'm not aware of that yet.
Yes, they have.
They have?
They have. Okay. Is that the Eric Campbell that I was talking
about? And I know the Jets are still.
No, that was. He went to
the Jets.
They're looking at the enemy. I know that.
There's a lot of people that are looking at me.
For head coaches.
Yeah.
Texas just now, so.
They wanted. I think they did it right. They went for their GM first, and then he's going to start doing this because you need to have your GM. Urban Meyer. Yeah, he went to Jacksonville, right?
He went to Jacksonville.
Yeah.
That's the one from
Ohio State. College guy.
Ohio State. Okay.
Well, he wasn't at. I don't think he was coach. Well, he was at Florida during the Tebow era, and then he was in Ohio State during Dwayne Haskins and somebody else. I don't know if he was actively coaching anywhere last year, but I know that he's primarily.
I think Detroit signed somebody also.
Detroit signed.
I know I read it.
Eric Campbell, somebody. I know that. Eric somebody.
Who else was looking for a coach? I know the Jets let go.
Jets,
Texans, Jaguars, Lions, Eagles.
Yep. Well, no, Eagles just signed.
Dan Campbell.
Yeah.
That's the new head.
That's the one that went to the Eagles?
To the Lions.
The Lions, okay.
And what about the Giants? Did they let them coach?
No. They had a good. For what they did, for him.
What they had and what they did, they're better have.
If Saquon was there, we would not be talking.
Right?
They would have won that
Chargers.
East.
The Chargers. That's the other one.
The Chargers, I believe.
And that to me is the heartbreaker. And I understand over the last few years he was just above break action, but I mean he was the driving force in some of the pickups that they had this year. I mean, you know, I would have liked to have seen Anthony Lynn give at least another year or two.
Well, that's another coach.
But he was let go, and I think you know he may be able to find a head coaching spot. I would honestly, if he came to Houston, I mean, if they can't get the enemy, I think he would be a good
They
spot.
interviewed Lovie Smith.
That's not a bad one either. Lovie Smith, I forget.
They
He's looking
interviewed
good.
him
Brandon Staley is the coach.
for the Chargers.
Yeah.
Where did they pick him up from?
Yeah, he cut off.
We're getting our input.
Maybe I should go get my daughter's.
He was the defensive coordinator for the. He was the defensive coordinator for the Rams.
Oh, okay, that's a good pickup.
That's not bad, man.
Yeah.
That's not bad.
So, question: Matt Patricia, is he going to go crawling back to Belichick?
Oh, wow.
He needs to.
Right.
He needs to.
And I did hear a rumor that Josh McDaniels might be.
No, Josh McDaniels staying.
Yeah, but I know that somebody was approaching him for a.
It was the Eagles.
Yeah.
It was the Eagles.
They interviewed him,
But Josh McDaniels is staying because he's the heir apparent.
Oh yeah. So what do you think the timeline on Belichick? You think he's going to retire in the next couple of years?
Probably so, because he's probably going to be the GM, or if not, the head of player personnel,
he's
or whatever, head of operations. Like what is
Remember that guy that got
Elway? What Elway was operations.
Well, Elway is basically the GM.
Right. But Elway dropped that position to be head of operations.
But did Denver let their coach go, and he's still there? I forgot. I didn't really catch that much of their
Well,
games.
they've got a lot of good things. I don't think that they never let. Yeah, and it's a fairly new coach.
Okay.
I think
you're right.
I think he's only been there a couple of years.
Yeah, you're right.
And they've got and they're a team that with a few right additions, they could be contenders.
Well, I mean, that's where that quarterback situation comes in.
Well, Drew
And
Lock is
sadly, yeah.
Drew Lock
and
is
then
not bad.
talk about the worst possible thing or situation for them, though.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, luckily they have Mile High. They still have a solid defense, but they're going up against the likes of Patrick Mahomes twice a year,
Yeah.
and now
the Raiders and
Justin Hubert didn't look bad.
He didn't look
and
bad.
and the
I
Raiders.
like Justin Hubert.
I did too.
Woo!
I hated the fact that Rivers got pushed out of there, but you know what?
It was his time to go.
It
It was his time.
They
I
shouldn't
was
have.
when he
rooting for him,
retired.
They shouldn't have fired Lynn though. The coach.
No, I get
They
it.
shouldn't
Yeah,
have.
they should have
Because
given
I think you're firing these coaches too early when you're firing him right when he just got the team.
Man, if you've not figured it out, all this hired and fired is nothing but a PR stunt. They land somewhere else because somebody knows it's all a PR stunt.
And also, the hiring fire. You know, I don't get me wrong. I'm a fan. I love the players. I'm an Andre Johnson fan. Period. I didn't like it when he left, but I know it's a business. You know, I understand that part. But when his point, your point you made, when you're letting your coach go after 2 seasons, you're not giving him a chance, an opportunity to do
Rebuild.
anything.
restructure,
It takes
all
2
that.
seasons for him to implement the process anyway. The bare minimum is 2 years. If you let him go within 2 years, you don't know what you're doing. You drastically don't know what you're doing as a organization. Period.
Well, perfect example. Look at the Cleveland Browns. I forgot the head coach there. But remember, they
Stefanski?
Well, they went through a couple
That's
of
They
those.
went to
Yeah.
a couple coaches. Yeah.
That's
had.
the
Remember, they had a winless season.
Kitchens,
With
Freddie Kitchens.
three years ago.
You had to let Freddie
And
Kitchens
then
go.
what happened with that?
But that's not
6,
just
7 games.
But that's not just the new general manager they got and the new coach they got worked well to get the team to where they need it.
Yeah,
They got the pieces they needed, and then they gelled.
right.
But
Yeah.
he said it, and I quote: "When you got Odell Beckham on the field, they didn't play well.
No.
Right.
But when he's hurt, he's gone. Look what they did.
Yeah.
So that's
And it's actually kind of funny because you even brought it up in a few episode ago when we didn't have J.J. Watt here at Houston.
Houston did well.
Houston banded together and made up.
What they call it, next man up
Yeah.
or something.
Next man up.
The
mentality.
defense when they had when the Jadeveon Clown was here, JJ was injured. That defense was the top 3.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Why? Because they knew without JJ they needed to band together and gel.
Right.
Which why couldn't they do that with JJ?
Because
That's
they
the
relied
thing.
on
Because
I think so.
if I know he's gonna do this, I don't have to do as much. But if he's not there, then everybody's held accountable now.
Yep.
So
Yeah,
now
like-
jobs are up there.
But then
now
that's why he made the comment he made. We're paid to play a game, and
Right.
he knew he was the only one one of the few people out there doing this thing,
Yep.
trying to get this, that, and the other.
Yeah.
And then you got guys that's just lackadaisical out there.
But see,
You know,
my
not
question,
trying to tackle,
My-
you know, not putting their best pass rushing.
my question with not to jump back on the Texans, but to make a comment real quick is, you notice how when a player leaves the Texans, they become a top 5 person at that position.
Yeah.
Somewhere
Yeah,
else,
yeah.
like Kareem Jackson.
Yes.
He was trash here, but look at Denver. He's the top 5 safety in the
Yeah.
league.
Yeah.
How?
They had Kareem Jackson playing corner. They
Man,
should have had him playing safety the whole time.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. Or Jacoby Jones,
Another
Bernard
one,
Pollard, Ashanti Samuel. They all won Super Bowl rings after that. The
Lestar
following
Jean-
year,
Lestar Jean left. Lestar Jean left
following
the
year.
Texans. Went to
David
Yeah.
Carr.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, David Carr got 2 Super Bowl rings. Oh no, he got 1.
As a backup.
As a
Yeah.
backup.
Yeah, that was the year
I
that
know,
he
yeah,
was the second.
forgot about
Was
that.
that the second year that Eli went, or was it the first year?
The
He
first
was on both
year.
teams. He was on both
No,
teams.
he was on the first team. The second team wasn't there. It was
Yeah.
somebody else's Eli's
Yeah.
backup.
Yeah.
But he left the Texans, went to the Giants, and got a Super Bowl ring. How do you leave the Texans and get a Super Bowl ring?
Ask every player that's left the Texans.
I know, right?
that had the Super Bowl ring. So
Demi-
J.J.
was it-
Watt, I'll
was
say
it
this to you.
D'Amico
Ryan's,
Ryan's
D'Amico
and,
Ryan's.
Yeah.
Carl Barwin?
Went to the
Carl
Eagles.
Barwin,
Eagles.
yeah.
Eagles.
Yeah.
They
That's
get
when
him.
they
Oh
went.
my.
Yeah.
Brooks Reed went to Atlanta. Almost won the
Atlanta
Super
and
Bowl.
almost went to the
Almost
Super
won.
Bowl.
Went to
And
the
went to the
Super
Oh,
Super
Bowl.
that's
Bowl.
right, because he was on that team.
Yeah, he was on that team.
And like you said, these letting these coaches go too soon. I'm gonna get back to that one. Is a travesty. But it is a business.
It is a business, and sadly, that's what the league's become. I mean, if you take a look back, what was it? Not even 20, maybe 20 years ago, because that put it, before the 2000s,
Yeah.
obviously, and all the way dating back prior to that, you had a longevity. When you got drafted or when you got hired, they gave you every opportunity to win
Yes.
something for them or to build something.
Build
for them.
something there.
But I think it was, a part of it is one, the free agency market. Because when you have teams that have cap space and they overspend, and I'm
Yes,
not
they do.
lying,
They overspend.
overspend. Because
Yeah.
you can't tell me with the, when you have 11 positions on offense, 11 positions on defense, and then you have, special teams and all that kind of stuff.
Practice squad and all that.
Yeah. You're spending so much money on marquee positions. Quarterback, receivers, running backs,
Right.
and tight ends. You're spending so much money on them. These games are won and lost in the trenches, and that's your offensive line, and they get dick.
Yeah.
They get squat. And
Except
that's
for
the
Dallas, they had the
tragedy.
highest paid offensive line.
Because Dallas knows what it is. It's like, hey, if I'm paying the quarterback $100 million, I'm paying each of you guys at least 20 each.
It makes sense.
Well, actually, they don't.
No,
Well,
they don't.
they don't.
But I mean,
Yeah, right.
Like
even the outside of the left tackle, which obviously is a margin,
The blind side,
the
yeah.
blind side, yeah, they may get close to 20, but I guarantee you, the average lineman,
It's
offensive
like
lineman, is like
6, 7.
7.
The only
It's
other
between-
one
it's
that
between
gets
5
a
and
lot.
10.
The only other one that
Yeah.
gets a lot usually is a center.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
That's
Well,
the
and
only-
that's because it's considered a skill position because of
Not only are you hiking the ball, you got to jump back up and
Yeah,
block
yeah,
height
yeah.
and
Boom.
move.
and,
Yeah,
let's
hike
and
and boom.
let's not forget the long snap. I mean,
yeah,
You know,
long snapper, yeah.
that right. I mean, some people get hired just to be the long snapper
Yeah,
for the punt.
matter of fact, a lot of teams have a different long snapper than their
yeah,
center,
then they're center.
Yeah.
and that's crazy to me because if you center, you should be able.
You
to
should
go
be able to
both.
long
Both.
snap,
Yeah.
right? I mean, that's the way it is
Well,
in
you're
college.
going to tire him out because if he just did X amount of plays and then now you want him to long snap it, like I see the point. I would do that. I would have a long snapper personally for that because you have a kicker for that one position.
Right.
True.
Might as well
Right.
have a long snapper for him.
There goes that special teams option there.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
and I think that. But going back to what I was saying, it's because of these marquee positions and because of their skill positions. And so I'm not going to knock that it takes a lot of skill for these guys to do what they do. But when you overpay in some regard, and I'll just throw it out there, I think that Dak Prescott, he was asking for way too much money for what we saw on the field. I don't think that he was worth what he was asking, and that's the key point when it comes to paying the rest of your team.
Yeah.
Are you because look, if I'm paying you X, then I can't pay.
I can't pay nobody else.
I can't pay your receivers. I can't pay your tight end. I can't pay your running back. And then let's not even get into the offensive line.
Well, see the issue. Okay, so see, The Dak Prescott issue is
I was using that as an example.
Right,
we don't need to go down.
So I was gonna say, like, with Dak Prescott, if you just look in the conference in itself, Carson Wentz got paid.
Yes.
Everybody in his draft class got paid handsomely. He's just asking for equal, if not a little bit more, because he's outperformed them.
Yes,
He's outperformed Goff, and he outperformed Carson Wentz every year.
I understand that aspect of the game, but once again, outside of one QB that I'm not going to name, I have not heard of any other QB take a discount so that they can keep the weapons that they had on the field.
Because it don't make sense. Because if I get hurt, like he did, you're screwed anyway. And Dallas showed that you're screwed no matter what. When I wasn't on the field, what did you do? Nothing.
Yeah, and I have to say that's the one disappointment. I thought Andy Dalton could do a better job there. Apparently, I was wrong. I'll admit that.
He was in Cincy for like 8-9 years. He didn't do anything in Cincy. What you thought he was going to do here?
Well, I mean,
Dallas. Sorry.
They made a couple of good runs, and were competitive in a very tough division. That's why I gave him a little bit more credit than maybe he
you
deserved.
said tough division, but
What?
AFC
Steelers and
AFC
Baltimore.
North.
Oh, we talking about Cincinnati. I thought you were talking about Dallas.
Oh. I'm talking about the body of work leading up to him.
And he actually
he didn't do that bad.
he made the playoffs a couple times.
It took him.
Remember
we were talking about that.
Texans.
No,
No,
we're
we're
talking
talking
about
about
Andy Dalton.
Oh, okay.
But that's like I said, you had 9 years to show them something. You didn't,
Right.
so they let you go.
Right.
Like I said, it's the business side of it. You may not like it, but that's what it is.
It was more or less that they were not. It's been what, 2, maybe 3 years since they made a playoff run,
Yeah.
and that was their stigma under Marvin Lewis was always they couldn't win in the playoffs.
Yeah. They won the wild card, but they can't win.
They couldn't win divisional round.
Like once you get to the cream of the crop, they.
And you would think that getting beat up by the Steelers in Baltimore every year, that they'd be used to it.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
Not at all.
And like when you look at these quarterbacks and these coaches and these running backs right now, the wide receivers are not forgotten. Don't get me wrong. But which one is the most valuable to you out as a coach? A good running back, a great quarterback, or a great wide receiver?
A quarterback.
And only because I've seen better than average QBs have success with solid supporting squad. I would say, for me, if I was to build a team, my number one, outside of maybe the offensive line, is to get a solid running back. Because when you have a solid running back like Zeke, or Ray Rice, or Frank Gore, or Adrian Peterson, Kamara, the 1-2 punch with Kamara and of course he's not there. Ingram.
And they could let him go.
Yeah, I know that. Well, they had to.
They did?
What? It's a money thing. Yeah, so he's available. You might be able to pick him up cheap.
Hey, Texans.
Yeah, about to say Texans.
But when you look at Kamara, like Kamara and Breeze work well together.
Yes.
Was it Saquon Barkley? I think his name is. When he was with who was it?
He's only been with the Giants.
Yeah, him and Eli worked well together. You don't really find that quarterback running back.
Philip Rivers and LaDainian Thomas.
LT.
Oh yeah, okay, yeah. I didn't want to go back that far.
I know that was.
You had to reach in the well for that one.
I'm showing my age.
I'll go back to what you, Joe Flacco and Ray Rice.
Yep.
That's true.
Mark Ripken and John Riggins. I mean, but you don't find that often. You know, you have the closest one I could come back to that is Beast Mode and Wilson.
No, sir. I will not allow you to put them in there.
First
of all, why not?
Because Marshawn Lynch was Marshawn Lynch.
Yeah.
It wasn't because they play action. They didn't play action. They told you they were going to run because they had Marshawn Lynch.
Marshawn Lynch was the best telegraphed running back
I know
I've
they're
ever
running.
seen.
You just
And they still couldn't stop him.
Yeah, they still couldn't
Marshawn
stop him.
Lynch. Yeah, and we're gonna miss some of those highlights.
When you go the topic we were discussing, even though we banter about a lot of different things, the coaches that are coaching these players, and you have like when you talk about the one from San Diego, your quarterback, he's coaching his quarterback up the ladder, and then all of a sudden now this quarterback who just learned some stuff, now he got to go learn something from somebody everybody else.
Yeah.
But unfortunately, once again, I mean, sadly, that is part of the league, and
A scapegoat.
yeah, and that's what they need. And he was, I mean, we're talking. He had with the 4 years he had there, he was only a few more wins than losses, and being at 500 at 4 years, obviously the organization wanted to move a different way, and I understand that. And as much as we want to critique it, I mean, that's the nature of the beast.
This is where I get on organizations, because you have to look at it. Remember, like in our pick'em drafts, in our pick'em league,
Yeah.
The whole season I picked the Chargers, no matter what, because they didn't lose like 10 touchdowns.
No.
They only lost by 3-4 points. It was always a something small, like a small little error. So if you're telling me for 4 seasons you only had this, so that means you just need that X factor. Maybe because Melvin Gordon left.
Yep.
Maybe you just needed that running back. So
And that's something that they could easily have gotten this year. I know.
Yeah.
keep
And,
Lynn.
and
Just do.
I agree with you wholeheartedly.
Like that makes no sense. So
yeah.
you haven't built this team for him to leave, and then when the new coach comes in, he's like, "Well, this
He
guy
didn't want to
failed
do something
with this."
different. Yeah.
Yeah.
And now you go
Yeah.
back, like you're setting yourself back. That's why.
Right.
That's why places like Steelers, the Patriots. I want to say Dallas, but not necessarily Dallas.
You really can't say
They
that.
keep the same
Yeah.
people.
Back in the day, they did.
Well, I'm
Well,
saying.
I mean, take a
they
look
keep
at
the
how
same
long they
people.
gave Jason Garrett.
They
You
gave
know,
Jason
he
Garrett.
He
eight,
had
eight,
almost
nine, was it?
almost a 10-year.
Almost 10 years.
So Jason Garrett got plenty of opportunities.
Yes.
Anthony Lynn was only over at the Chargers for maybe 4 years
I
right
think
now.
it was 2 or 3 years, actually.
3 years.
How
Yeah,
long was he
it was 2 because they said, well, no, it had to be almost 4 because it was 30 to 30 and
Yeah.
15.
He's right.
It was
Almost
30 something. The 30 something was his win loss record.
Yeah. He was.
So he had to be there for 4 years.
Okay.
Yeah.
So when you
Anyway, but let's go ahead and wrap up the segment and move on to our next topic. Any last? And of course, let's start it off with the coaching carousel. Anything you want to add?
I would like to watch some of these teams give these coaches a real look. Not this is that and this is that. When I say Jets, I'm talking all these teams that are looking for a coach. You have the offensive coordinator for the team that just won the Super Bowl available. Give him a real look.
Yeah.
Because that offense is what beats your teams. That offense is what won them Super Bowls.
Yeah.
So give him a shot. I hope the Jets get him. I really do.
The Jets are the defensive coordinator from the San Francisco, Selah.
No, I'm talking about the offensive coordinator Eric Bieniemy.
He's not gonna. Selah's not gonna. Enemy's not gonna leave our offensive coordinator position. Goes to another one.
No,
especially
head coach.
right now,
I say as a head coach. They interview him for a head coach position.
No, the Jets already have a head coach.
Yeah,
Robert
they're
Selah.
looking for OCD.
Oh, okay. I thought.
But my take on the coaching thing is the Texans need to give Jim Caldwell because he went to the Detroit Lions. Detroit Lions
yeah.
were
Oh yeah.
1-16, and he turned around to a playoff team the following year. You need to get him.
I do like Jim Caldwell. He did really well. I do
Yes,
like that. I would like that pick. Yes. Campbell?
My take on the coaching carousel. No comment.
Knew that was coming.
A lot of input.
Forget about San Francisco. He don't care.
Look, there's right now it's nothing more than a lot of hype and talk. I know that outside of the one that got hired on over at the Eagles, really everything else is still up in the air and in question. So definitely we'll probably discuss this more leading into our preseason and camps in the next few months.
I can't wait to go back to a stadium and watch a football game. So
Hopefully that happens.
let's
We'll
yeah.
see what
I think the
happens.
Texans are open.
Yeah, but I didn't want to go out there with them.
All right. Hey, thanks for joining us. Don't forget to like and subscribe and stick with us. We're going to have some cool stuff coming up in this next year. We may have a couple more topics, so keep a lookout, and we'll talk to you later.
All right.
We're out.